And welcome back to the Alpha Evolution, where we learn about game, seduction, healthy masculinity. I'm your friendly neighborhood game guide, Coach Justin. And today we're going to be talking about the 4 engagements with women. And they're pretty simple, right? And it just goes through the stages of going from hello all the way up through to she's completely addicted to you. Now, how does that happen, right? Obviously, with each stage, there's different strategies for each stage, okay? Similarly, if you're looking at, say, like a war, okay, you're not going to use the same strategies at the point of engagements that you are when your troops are on the battlefield, right? It just doesn't make any sense. So same idea, the same basic framework applies when you are dealing with interactions. Okay, so let's keep it short and sweet and get to number one. Number one is curiosity. All right, curiosity, and this is the stage of attention getting. This is where guys do their peacocking. This is where women flaunt their shit. They put on, low cut, skin tight shirts or whatever the fuck. And you want to be able to bring about curiosity. And really, there is no rule for this. If you feel like granted, that's not me, okay? If you want to put on some fucking crazy ass shit to get attention from women, fine. That's you. And if you're comfortable doing that and that's how you really want to express yourself, by all means, okay? But it's just the means by which you choose to bring about curiosity, right? And this could be something that you do. Okay, so let's say you read poetry, right? You go to these poetry slams or some shit, or you play guitar, any kind of hobby that is out and about in the world that people can see. That is something that women typically will find curious. They'd be like, "Oh wow!" And they're like looking at your hands while you're playing guitar, like watching the muscles flex around in your forearm. Chicks love that shit. So it's really like anything that can be observed. It could be your Instagram profile. It's how you set up your dating profiles and how you curate that shit. If you don't know how to curate your dating profile, you can hit me up. I'm not going to charge a fee for that because it's just really simple. So if you feel like you're not getting any kind of hits on your dating profiles, just hit me up. Take some screenshots on IG. Hit me up and send me some screenshots, and we can just go through the process a little bit and get you well on your way. But what's necessary is gaining curiosity. And it comes through the photographs that are taken of you, photographs you take of yourself, things that you do, things that you say, just any sort of information that one can get from another person, okay? And that builds curiosity. I don't know how else to like expand on what the fuck curiosity is. If you don't know what the fuck curiosity is, open up a damn dictionary, okay? So the next level is gaining interest. Okay, so this is when you first start communicating with a woman. This is where, granted, there's game on each level. Okay, but this is the beginnings of when the game gets a little bit thicker. Okay, first level, you're just kind of putting out a beacon. You're saying, hey, this is me. This is what I do. This is what I'm about, so on and so forth. And then let's say a woman is intrigued by that. All right. She wants to come in and see what you're about. Or you go to her and say, hey, this is what I'm about. If you've got a verbal game, this is where mouthpiece comes into play. All right. And being able to communicate just enough information to make her say, what's up with that guy? All right. Now, we talked about this before with when I was with that IG chick, and I asked her to look at her IG DMs, And because I knew there was just like she's a hot chick, and I knew there was just a lot of dudes that were after her. I mean, that's just part of the game. Like if you're dealing with a chick who's really fucking hot, she's got a following. Like I'm saying, like a real following, like 5 digits. Then she's gonna have a lot of dudes in her DMs. So if you're a guy, just the sidebar, if you're a guy who wants a really attractive woman and she's into social media, you better get used to having a lot of dudes being up in her DMs. Now, she could shut it down because you guys get into a relationship, but she's not going to do that right away, right? Not until there's a committed full shit and she has converted, right? Well, it'll be at the investment stage, but anyways. So the amount of haze, hellos, heart eye emojis, fire emojis, the sweating emoji guy, excuse me. So many of them, right? This is when you break through. This is when you interact with a woman that breaks her normal view of things, breaks her thinking. And what I mean by breaking is upsetting the pattern. All right. And this is where a man with game, a man who knows himself and isn't afraid to communicate, first of all, what he wants. And secondly, what he wants in a creative and smooth way. Okay. So sure, you could just be like, hey, I think you're cute. We should get together sometime. Okay. Yeah. If that's all you want to communicate and that's really what you stand on, shit, fucking go for it. Okay. Like I said before, I'm a creative person. I like to express myself when I get into situations that I can express myself. So I'm going to take it upon myself to say something that disrupts the norm. That's not a hey. Okay. I'm not a hey kind of person. I'm much more than hey. How? And you're probably much more than hey. How are you more than hey? Because I know you are. You just don't think you are. But you are. You've got more to say. And you don't have to get into some fucking deep philosophical conversation, right? One sentence. That's different than all the bullshit. And it doesn't have to be fucking witty. It doesn't have to be charming. It just has to be different and authentic to you, right? So this is how you garner interest. So the first stage is curiosity. That's making them look, saying, oh, what's that shit over there? Okay. Then after a little bit of observation through what you're doing, what you're saying, how you're presenting yourself, how you create that initial interaction, okay, that's when interest starts growing, right? Especially if you do this right. If you've got game and you're a student of the game and you have cultivated yourself and you're okay with expressing who you are. This now comes to interest, right? So now she's looked, now she's got an eyebrow raised and she's like, who the fuck is this dude? He's not a hey. He's not a fire emoji. He's not a heart eye emoji. This guy's coming to me straight. He's coming to me clean. There is no confusion here with this guy. I'm interested. Okay. So now the space typically between curiosity and interest can be fairly short. The next stage is investment. Okay. So after interest, there's a long period usually between interest and investment where the two of you are feeling each other out. You see each other maybe once a week, maybe twice a week. You guys aren't really going on dates or anything special, right? You're just kind of feeling each other out, having conversations here and there. You're mostly fucking. You're just taking it easy and seeing each other a little bit at a time, okay? And I've talked about what to be doing during this period in other videos. So I'm not going to rehash this sort of thing because it's linked to your principles and how you move and what you find acceptable, unacceptable, so on and so forth. But this is the period where you're really getting to know each other. All right. Now, if you are a man of principle, you stand on your shit. You don't take shit, but you do no harm, right? That's one of my life mottos, right? I didn't make it up. I picked it up from somewhere. I think it was a fucking bumper sticker, but I liked it anyways, right? Do no harm, take no shit. All right? It's a good way to live. But anyways, so this period between interest and investment can be long. It really depends on knowing really what you want out of this person or from this person and what you want to put in to the situation. All right? So the more value you see, the more value you know you have, and the better you can see the situation shows that you can put more and more into the situation and begin to cultivate. Okay. You also get investment when she knows that you are not easily replaceable. Okay. Now, this is not just your dick, right? Dicks are a dime a dozen. All right. This is why I preach fucking her mind over fucking her pussy. All right. Because pussies, they vary slightly between one another, but after you've seen a few of them, after you've fucked a number of them, there's not that much of difference between a pussy, right? And you hear guys say, "Oh man, that she have fire pussy." Well, you haven't fucked enough yet, son. You really haven't. Because if you have, you'd know that it's just a little wet hole. There's no fire anything. It's the person. Okay? Because I can imagine, I'd ask these guys, okay, that fire pussy, now put a fucking raunchy bitch attached to it. Put a boring ass woman attached to that. Is it going to be fire? No. No, it's not. So be careful when you say, oh, that woman should have fire pussy. All right? So it's fucking the mind. That's what I'm trying to get at. It's the mind that you're after. And that's when there's investment. And this is also why I preach to guys, don't go hard for the mind and create investment over some bitch that you don't want. Right? Because you're just going to be exercising tools that are not meant for her. And you're going to fuck her up. Right? So don't pull out all the fucking Jedi mind tricks on some chick that you're not all that interested in. Just because your ego wants to feel what it's like to have someone who's invested in you. Nah, that's bullshit. That's you like playing with the stocks, investing in shit, not because you actually want to grow something, but because you just want to see what it feels like to play on the stock market. That is stupid. That is just throwing your money away, right? Before you invest in a stock, you do research. You find out about that company. You look at its track record. You look about who's running the place, what associations they have, what's the trajectory. You got to do a lot of research before you just start. You don't just go in there and start throwing your money at a company because it looks good, right? Same idea. You don't want to invest in something. You don't want to throw your energy, your time, your emotions, your skills, who you are towards a woman that you have no intention of bringing up and bringing in. All right? So don't get into mind fucking towards a woman that you don't have intention for to bring into your life in a committed thing. All right? There's a caveat to that. You can get into situations where that's part of the game, right? Now, this is, say, like in areas where the woman knows herself very well sexually, or you're dealing with people who are in the BDSM community, right? Where mind fucking is part of the game. It's part of healthy sexual play, as they call it, okay? Having a play partner, and it's with an understanding. It's with an understanding that I'm allowing you to mind fuck me, right? So she knows what she's getting into, all right? So I don't want to go too far down this road of mind fucking versus pussy fucking, but investment comes through the mind. All right? It does not come through her body. Now, the last part of engagement is conversion. Now, I chose the word conversion because it's related to religion. Now, you can imagine someone who's non-religious and they convert to Islam, they convert to Judaism, they convert to Jainism, they convert to Christianity. They are taking a non-belief or a former belief, a system, and replacing it with a new one. Now, this isn't just behaviors, right? We're still looking at it in religious context. They're not just taking, oh, you need to read this book and do these things and maybe wear these clothes, have these practices throughout the year. That's not enough. That doesn't create belief. Imagine taking a non-believer and now they fully believe in Allah. All right? That's going to take a lot. Conviction, right? It hits them in their core. That's a true conversion to a religion. Now, after there is investment, you can get to conversion. Now, this is where a woman loves the fucking shit out of you. And sadly, I don't think a lot of men have really experienced what it's like to have a woman love them, like really love them. Because they're too caught up in bullshit. They're too caught up in mind games, and I'm not talking about mind fucking. They're too caught up in mind games. And this gets them nowhere because it keeps the woman on a tit for tat level. Right? They never get below the surface and dig in deeper into her core. Now, I can't blame them for that. It's not like there's people teaching this shit to men on a daily basis, right? That's why I had to learn it. This is why I had to develop it on myself, bruise my own knees and figure a lot of this shit out on my own, along with the help of other dudes. I had to learn, okay? Because it's not born into men. This is why I have courses. This is why I charge shit for it, okay? Because it actually does things. Now, again, I don't want men to be going for this just because they want to or just to see if they can. With my students, I tell them they need to pump the brakes because they're going to get a woman who is religiously converted to them. And these are guys that are not ready for marriage. They're not ready for long-term committed relationships. They're not ready for building families. And that's totally fine. All right. But you can't get into shit with women and act like a boyfriend. You can't give them boyfriend energy. Shout out to Mr. Lucario. You have to maintain a certain level of distance. You can't be falling in love with her. Not if you want to just fuck and enjoy yourself and keep things cool and simple, right? And that's the key phrase right there. You got to keep things simple. When you start involving layers, now I'm not saying don't dig, right? Yes, dig into her core a little bit, right? Get beneath the layers because that's really where she is. That's really where that woman is, right? All the shit that you see, her clothes, her hair, her makeup, her style, her titties, her ass, her waist, like her smile, her lips, her skin. Yeah, all those things are great. Okay? They're great. I love those parts. But that's not her. That's not even close to being her. That's an extension of her, hopefully, right? A pure expression of who she is, but many times it's not. Many times there'll be a woman looking like a certain way because that's always what's been expected of her. when really she's just a homebody and she'd rather just hang out in a fucking t-shirt and sweatpants all day. Right? But she's been gone through life with everyone telling her how beautiful she is and how hot she is, and spending years with validation. So she's conditioned to look and feel and be a certain way when that's really not who she is at her core. That's not saying all women who are dolled up are like that, but I'm just saying that's a possibility. The point is that you don't know her core at all. And what I'm suggesting is get to know it a little bit. See who's really under there. You don't judge it. You just say, is this person for me? Is this a good fit? Can I envision her coming into my life? And in what regard? Then you can dig deeper. But if you're out here playing, you're out here just fucking, friends with benefits, play partners and so on and so forth, I highly, highly recommend that you do not go for a conversion, because you will psychologically screw up these women, right? And that is taking a decent woman, okay? Because I'm not advocating that men deal with really fucked up chicks, okay? So let's hope that everyone is dealing with relatively decent women, right? If you go for into conversion, but you're just there to fuck, and then you're out after a little while, that's going to screw her up for somebody that she's better suited for. And now she's got all kinds of crazy shit going on in her head because you were reckless. All right? This is why I call it healthy masculinity, right? Because just like in fucking Spider-Man, when he said, with great power comes great responsibility. Once you get to the point of realizing that you can get into a woman's core and quickly go from curiosity to conversion, then you realize, shit, I can't just be out here swinging this sword and, cutting women in half down to their core without any intention of actually bringing them into my fold. Right? And yeah, you're gonna screw up. Like, once you start honing these abilities and really understanding yourself as you are interacting with women, you're going to screw up. You're going to massively break a woman's heart because you're not going to know what you're doing. And that's just part of the game. That's how we learn, is by making mistakes. Unfortunately, you're going to be dealing with someone else's psyche. So I'm hoping that it's not too bad, or you have the ability to pull out, pardon the pun. You have the ability to pull out before there's massive damage. Okay? But if she's getting to the level of conversion, it's already too late, because she's now revering you. Okay? She has given up a certain belief about men and replaced it with you. And it's a very intoxicating place to be, where a woman essentially worships you. So be careful out there. So again, just a quick review, the 4 stages of engagement: curiosity, interest, investment, and conversion. They all have their different games, okay? Strategies, implementations, right? You got to do some things for curiosity to gain that initial attention, okay? You then have to have a separate kind of game, so to speak, for interest, for gaining interest. This is where your mouthpiece comes in. This is where your style comes in. This is where your cologne comes in, right? This is where your personal hygiene comes in. Okay? All those first layer interactions, Okay? Verbal game doesn't stop though. It keeps going deeper and deeper and deeper. And that's when you get to the next level, investment, and you go deeper more, you get to conversion. Okay? So a lot of these guys out here, you're not going to know what the fuck I'm talking about because they're so stuck on the curiosity stage. And I tell you, that's one of the biggest problems with dudes these days. They just want the look. They you know, they're just stuck on a girl noticing them, right? And I get it. There's a lot of dudes out there on the internet. You know what the cure is? Get the fuck outside and talk to women. Stop making excuses why you can't. Because while you and 9 of your boys, if the 9 of them are all online, just swiping on their phone, who do you think is going to stand out if you step your ass and go out to the mall? You go to the park, right? You go to that center square. You go to the farmer's market, grocery store, whatever. Walking down the street, not your job. Anywhere else but your job. There's women everywhere. Strike up conversations. And not just with the ones that you're attracted to. Get used to conversing. Get used to just, you see a nice old lady, walking down the street or whatever, and say, "Excuse me, ma'am, I had to stop you because I think your scarf is just so striking." Doesn't matter. It's not like she's going to call you a fucking idiot. She'll say, "Thank you, you're so sweet." Probably because it's been like fucking 50 years since a man had paid her a compliment. All right? Easy win. Low-hanging fruit, right? It's a great way to great way to exercise those conversational muscles just by talking to all kinds of people, not just hot chicks. Because you just talk to hot chicks and you haven't dealt with your fucking social ineptitudes, you're always going to be nervous. All right? But you get past that by talking to everybody so that when you do talk to attractive chicks, you just talk to them the way you would anybody else with just a little bit more creativity. All right? And you'll stand out because that energy will stand out by far against the fucking thousands of dudes who are DMing her. All right? Okay, so we'll leave it there. I appreciate you watching. Please like, share, and subscribe if you think this video or any other of my videos will be beneficial to your friends or family or whatever. Send it their way. I've got my courses. I've got my one-on-ones, either for a 2, 3, 4 month personal coaching program, or you can purchase the condensed program in video format. And all those links are in the description for my bio and in the videos here. If anyone has any kind of questions whatsoever, you have a question about a text message you've received and you don't know how to answer it, a conversation you have with your girl and you don't know how to move forward, or any other little tip, okay? Just hit me on my IG and I'd be happy to strike up a conversation with you. We can take care of it there, or we can just set up a free 45-minute consultation. And easy peasy. All right, until next time, fellas, peace.